I can't hear you. Blew a 14-point. Well, now we got some wisdom at this table, so we'll figure this out.
14 points.
Okay, I will start with you on this one. Who deserves the most blame for that loss?
There's enough to go around, without a doubt. But I'm not going to sit up here and say Baker's to blame. He's not. He didn't allow them to score 45 points.
Okay.
As a defensive player, or former defensive player in the National Football League, it's no way I would come walking in that locker room and have anything to say to Baker Mayfield, who put up 42 points, knowing I was a part of getting 45 put up on me. And so I think that's unacceptable. Greg Williams is known to be a defensive guru, and they have the talent on their team. We've seen Cleveland defense make plays, and for some reason they just didn't quite look like themselves. I don't know if they went in there thinking, this is Oakland. We got this. They hadn't been great in the past. And so, though Baker made mistakes, he's a rookie. He's going to make some of those mistakes. And as veteran guys in that locker room, I know they understand, look, this kid's going to go through some growing pains. But to put up 42 points, to see the energy those guys played with out there, even to see the play calling, I can't blame Baker for this one. And though there's enough blame to go around, he needs to take some. But I liked him saying at the end, I'll take this loss. Because that shows maturity. That shows, hey, he's ready to be that team's quarterback. Because that's what it takes. When you win, you get all the glory as a quarterback.
Absolutely.
When you lose, sometimes even if it's not your fault, you have to still be the guy that stands up and says, hey, this is on me. And he knows 4 turnovers is unacceptable, even though the one tip the guy should have called him.
The Raiders, Cleveland defense did give up over 550 yards of total offense. But what's the defense to do when the offense drops the ball on the 7? Or they drop the ball on the 20-yard line? Because we in control of this ball game. We got the ball. We dealing. We up 28-14. I'm feeling real good. I'm over there. If I'm Myles Garrett over there chugging a great Gatorade. Great.
He does a lot of that.
Yeah.
Too much for Myles.
Don't do that. No. Hold on. This is my turn. You know what I noticed, Skip Bayless? You let DeAngelo talk and you never interrupt him.
Well, I loved it because he backed you into a corner you cannot fight your way out of.
All I'm saying is, the way I look at it like this, if a team scores 45 points, it's my job as an offensive player to go get 46. If the team if it's 7-10, defense, y'all need to make sure they only have 7 and we got the 10. So a high-scoring game, we got to win it. Skip, he dropped the ball on the 7-yard line. He dropped, which gave them an opportunity to take the lead. They were up 28-14. He fumbled the ball on the 20-yard, gave them the ball on the 20-yard line, which gave them an opportunity to get momentum because at that point, the black hole was really quiet. Cleveland was having their way with them. And I still don't agree with you on the last play because with 15 seconds, and I think the ball was almost at midfield, the whole area of the field is in play because you have a timeout. You don't have to get reckless with the ball like that, Skip. And I get all this. Tyrod, and I'm not advocating that Tyrod.
You were close.
You know what?
You were getting right there. He walked right up to the edge and looked over the cliff. And he was ready to jump, and then he said, whoops.
D-Hall, all I know is the guy that told me had Baker been starting the entire season, they would be 4-0.
Correct.
He started yesterday.
First time he's ever started.
And they took the L. So if he'd have played Pittsburgh opening day, would that have been his first start? So I love how you do this. He loses a game, he's a rookie. If he wins the game, he plays like a veteran player. We're not going to do that because Tyrod, my homie from, what's area code?
757.
757 from the
Tyrod is his homie.
Oh, I mean, he my homeboy too.
Come on.
But I rep it to 757.
Did you go to Virginia Tech? I forget.
No.
Savannah State.
I've only been to Virginia one time. But anyway, But anyway, you know Tyrod Taylor has only had 2 games in his entire career in which he's turned the football over more than once in a ball game. Skip Bayless, did you know that? So imagine if Baker Mayfield had only 1 turnover. I think they win. Let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip Bayless, I like you. You a good man. Deep down inside, you a good man. Deep down inside, you a good man. You have 2 turnovers, they win the game. But 4, we just can't overcome that, Skip Bayless. So I give the blame 50-50, Baker and the D.
You think Tyrod would have put up 42 at Oakland yesterday? I don't.
The play calling would have allowed him.
I've been saying that they
and
throw
that's
the ball
the problem
down.
I have.
They
just flat out.
It seems sabotage-y to me.
Really? Oh, so they were sabotaging the guy that they just gave the job to throughout training camp. They said it's not even a competition. And if Hugh Jackson had his way right now, Tyrod would be the starting quarterback.
Well, if Todd Haley would call plays like for Baker Mayfield or for Tyrod, he might still have a job.
Well, if God had given Tyrod the arm that he gave Baker, they would have called some plays for him because it's just not even close. Baker's got a rifle, man. It's got some stuff on it. Yes.
He got a nice arm, Skip, but it ain't like that. You make it seem like it's like that.
Yeah, you like Aaron Rodgers or something.
I'm not saying it's Aaron Rodgers, but it's close. It's up there. It comes out fast. It comes out effortless fast.
Okay.
It's one of those balls where, as a DB, you're saying, how did they get there so fast? That's what they used to say about Joe Montana. How did it get there so fast? I don't know. It doesn't look that way in warm-ups, and then you see it up close and personal. It just zing. It just gets there.
Yeah, but you saw Joe throw the speed out. Joe hit that back foot. Jerry's not even out his breaking. The ball's already in there.
All right. That's fine. So how do I spread the blame? Number one, the blame goes to whoever overturned that first down at the end of the game because it's just a flat-out robbery. Baker Mayfield won the football game. He did everything in his power to score the 42 points that would have stood up as a big W and gotten him a seat at your restaurant until somebody in New York, I don't know if it's Al Riveron, I don't know who it was, said, no, we got an angle where he got his elbow down. Baloney! The refs on the field got it right. He falls across, if we can see that again, he just falls across the first down line.
Yeah, you can't overturn that.
Carlos Hyde, you cannot. It's game over. It's another one of those plays like the call on Clay Matthews in the Minnesota game. It just changes, it ends the game. If you don't make that call on Clay Matthews, Kirk Cousins has thrown an interception, the game is going to be over. In this case, it's even more over because they're going to kneel out the clock from this point because Oakland is out of timeout. It's just a first down. And I don't know how. And we had Dean Blandino, our man, who used to be the overseer of officiating in the NFL. And he just took one look at it and said, there's going to be no conclusive angle to overturn this. And he was shocked, and the broadcasters were shocked. Everybody's shocked. I fell out of my chair. What? Are you kidding me? And to Oakland's credit, they went down with the punt and scored.
Yeah.
And to Greg Williams' non-credit, I don't know what happened to his defense because usually he just goes after a Derek Carr and he's throwing all kinds of fancy, crazy blitzes at him the way he does Baker in practice. And they basically sat back yesterday. They didn't blitz very much at all.
But hold on now, Skip. Okay, be that as it may. They went to overtime. And the Raiders did nothing with the ball. So they punted the ball to Baker Mayfield.
All I know,
now it's time for Baker. Woo!
Now, the game should have been over.
No, but it wasn't.
I know, but it should have been.
I know, I get that.
Okay, so that's blame number one. And blame number two goes to the defense. And then I'll give you two of those turnovers. They were costly. Because the first one to Callaway, he just slips coming out of his break.
Yes.
So that's not Baker's fault.
Correct.
The second one is Baker's fault, and unfortunately it happens down on their 11-yard line, and the pocket just immediately collapses, and Maurice Hurst, the rookie out of Michigan, just gets his big paw up through the pocket, and before Baker can even just take a step to throw, he's trying to get rid of the ball, and his arm gets hit.
Ball security. Okay? Number one thing for
number one.
In the pocket.
Okay, what do you got to do? You just got to duck and cover. You just got to cover the football up and hold on to it because you're deep in your territory.
So who are you blaming for that?
I blame him. I told you that was on him.
Okay.
But the snap, J.C. Treader, he goes under center for the snap, and he's trying to change the play, and his hand's barely, I think one hand's under center, and J.C. Treader snaps it before he's supposed to, and Baker's not ready for it.
Center?
Well, I don't know why he's under center to start with anyway.
D-Hall, what they do normally when they change the play, they don't get up under the center.
Yeah, they back up off.
Okay.
They back up out of
there.
Well,
he's changing. He's screaming, looking sideways, and all of a sudden the ball gets
put his hands up on his.
Okay.
You saw that, Skip.
Okay, but it's not. I'm not going to put that one on him. I'm going to put it on the center. I'm sorry. That's J.C. Treader's fault.
I'm trying to talk about overtime.
Okay, so there's two that are not his fault. And then I'll give you, he tried to Hail Mary the last one to Callaway. Okay?
I don't even care about
I'll give you that one.
I don't even want
give
that.
you two out of four.
I'm going to give him an A. I'm talking about we get to overtime. Yeah. Now we're at overtime.
It's
and Baker
time for the
ball.
defense to rise up and say no more.
Hold on. D-Hall, who won the coin toss in overtime? The Raiders. The defense held up. They stopped them. Yeah. Now Baker has the ball. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Your turn.
What did I tell you last week? There's going to be a learning curve and there are going to be growing pains. I said it right out of this mouth right here on this table last week on the show on live national TV. It's his first start ever as a rookie on the road in Oakland in the black hole. It gets crazy loud. He was down in the black hole end of it. Okay?
Playing a team that doesn't take the ball away, that doesn't pressure the quarterback. They were tailor-made to what Baker Mayfield can do.
Did you see some of the throws that kid made yesterday? Did you see the rocket to Fells for a touchdown? Did you see the sweet little fade to Jarvis for the touchdown? Those are big time. That's first pick in the draft plays.
This is the difference. We don't mind giving him credit, but we also don't mind letting you know when it's
okay. But you
when it's
did
his
not
fault.
give
You
him
don't
the
wanna
blame.
give him-
He started off. He did not.
No.
He said, "I cannot blame Baker for all this." Am I right?
Not all of it. Absolutely not all of it, but some of it, like Shannon said. When you turn the ball
You gave
over,
the majority of the
I
blame
did,
to the defense.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
I did.
Thank you.
But
But
you
I
give
said
no
there's enough to
blame.
go around.
I said
Everyone.
I'll give Baker third most blame.
But how about this here, Skip? All said and done, I'm throwing everything out the window. Who's to blame? Who's at fault? Now Baker Mayfield has the ball. The defense has done their job. They've stopped the Raiders in overtime. Okay, Baker Mayfield, the number one pick in the draft, Skip Bayless swears by it. Okay, what you got for me?
He's only thrown for 300 to that point. Wow, and he's put up 42 points.
Skip, I'm trying to win. As good as that.
Do you realize it's the record-breaking number of points for a first overall pick in his first ever start? No one's ever come close to scoring 42.
Nobody will remember that.
42?
Nobody will remember that.
The defense will remember it because they walked in, as DeAngelo just said, and said they'd look at each other and say, man, we let that kid down.
D-Hall.
But this Oakland team isn't very good.
No.
I'm with you.
This Oakland team hadn't got turnovers, hadn't scored touchdowns.
Hadn't gotten the sack. They
Okay.
passed the sack.
So how did Derek Carr do that to them? Because I've told you from the start, the reason I thought Cleveland could be the shock team of the year was the backbone of that team was a defense that will keep them in every game. Yeah. Keep them in every game. If you told me Oakland would score 42 in regular, 45 in overtime, I would have fallen off my chair and said there's no way Cleveland has any prayer in this game.
If you want to be great, it's not the first quarter, the second quarter, the third. It's fourth quarter or in overtime when you absolutely must have it. I say the mark of any great unit, offense or defense, when you need to make a play.
What did Dak and Zeke do? What did Dak Prescott do?
We're not talking
needed to make
Baker.
a play. Well,
We're going to talk about them later.
You set me up.
We're going to talk
Set me up. I
about
was
later.
giving Jenny a transition. Am I right?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
What about
now,
Baker?
Jenny?
What about Baker?
Huh? What about him? I give him an A-. I thought he did really well.
A-.
To wrap up Baker, you just better believe when he goes back home to face the Ravens, I know they're good.
They're
3-1,
really good. That's
but
the
he's
number
at
one defense
home.
in pro football.